So what's this then? Well, this is the Tesla Model Y long-range dual motor. And it is the best-selling vehicle in the world. Not just the best-selling electric car. No, it sells more than the Ford F-150. It sells more than the Toyota Corolla. It sells more than any Nissan or Hyundai or any other car you might think about, even microcars out of China. This, an electric SUV, is the best-selling car in the world. And that is amazing because it is totally electric. The Tesla Model Y was first presented to the world in 2019 in a bit of an underwhelming event in Hawthorne, California, where Elon Musk and his cohorts showed us this thing here after having been selling the Model 3 for a couple of years. Now, as you can see, this is basically a Model 3 who's been eating too much over Christmas. It's a bit fatter, it's a bit taller, it's a bit wider, but other than that, it's very much a similar or indeed the same car. It's built on the same platform, it's got the same motors, it's got the same batteries in it, and many of the features on the inside are exactly the same as well. So the question is, if this car was launched in 2019 and we're now in 2024 and it's starting perhaps to show its age, is it still the best car you can get? This is what we're going to try to find out today in what we call the Electric Exam. The Electric Exam is our own proprietary format. We go through 8 categories of, let's say, tests that are interesting to the EV buyer. Each category has its own weight. We add and multiply them all up, and at the end we come to a score between 0 and 100. And that you can use to compare different electric vehicles. Now, different categories have different importance and different weighing. So, for example, the range is much more important than, say, for example, the exterior design. At least that's my opinion. You might have a different opinion. And if you do so, you can go to our website where you can fiddle around with the different category weighing, and the page will reorder the cars for you and suggest which one is just for you. But for now, let me just take you a tour around the Model Y before we take it out on the road and do some more testing. So the Tesla Model Y is a D-segment sized SUV. Funny enough, the Y name comes from an infantile joke that Elon Musk came up with sort of like 10 or 12 years ago. Sexy, spelled S3XY, was what gave the name to his line of cars. And that's why it's the Model Y. Why not? So it's an SUV, 4.75 meters long. It's 1.62 meters tall and 1.92 meters wide. So it's almost the same size as the Model 3, at least in width and in length. A couple of extra centimeters. The real difference is actually the height. And this influences the design. As you can see, it's a bit more chumpy than the Model 3, and it still has the signature duckbill front end. Some people identify this with Tesla, and some people really dislike it. In this case, we've got 20-inch rims, which is an optional extra. We also have the black paint, which is another optional extra. Aside from that, this car is completely standard. This version is the dual motor version. So it's got 4-wheel traction and 514 horsepower, which is quite a lot. There's a new version of this car out where they've just got one motor in it, which means that you'll get longer range, but it's not as powerful. I guess here in Spain, people really appreciate the long range because it's a big country, in all fairness. So maybe that version is going to outsell this version soon enough. The car weighs 2 tons and 54 kilos, which is honestly not too bad. It's a pretty standard weight for a car this size, even ones that aren't electric. The Tesla Model Y hasn't changed one bit since 2019, at least not on the outside. And you know what? I think it still looks okay. It's not the prettiest of cars because of the dimensions, you know, it's not as sporty as a Model 3, but still it's got that Tesla DNA in it. As it stands here, completely black, black windows, black accents, black door handle, and even black rims on it, it does look pretty good, I think. It looks sort of like what Batman would drive if he was a father with a family, which he isn't, and that's why he's Batman. Now, the biggest reason to buy this car over the Model 3 is what you'll find here in the back. This one has 5 doors instead of 4. It opens wide. It's easy to put in, you know, a fridge or something big and chunky. It's got more than 800 liters of available space down here. We've got a double flooring with loads of space for hiding stuff. We've got side pockets. We've got buttons so that we can fold the seats on the second row down. Now here in Europe, we don't get the 7-seat version. In the US, you do. I don't know why. 7 seats would be really useful here. Now the Model 3 has actually quite a big boot as well, but the opening is quite small, and that's usually the limiting factor. So let's go check out if there's also a frunk. I'll tell you, of course there is. Tesla basically invented the frunk. Let's go have a look. Now to open the frunk, I need to use my mobile phone, but in this case I don't have my mobile phone linked to this car because it's a press car, but I can do it from inside the screen as well. So if I open it up, I get access to 117 litres. This is a pretty big space. In fact, I've got all my charging cables and stuff down here, and I still have room for a sport bag or a laptop computer or something like that. Just be aware, don't put super smelly stuff in here, because up here is the air intake for the cabin. So if you have your fresh fish here, you put them down there, you get home, you forget about your fresh fish, so they're no longer fresh. And then they're just fish, smelly fish. Then next time you drive, you'll have smelly fish smell inside your Model Y. That's a tongue twister. Another thing to appreciate on the Model Y, and indeed on any Tesla, is that there are no ultrasonic sensors anymore. The ultrasonic sensors are used to bounce signals off of things that you're about to drive into so that you don't drive into them. But Tesla has decided that all they need is to use the cameras up there. So if they could do everything with the cameras, they're going to take away this component because it's just noise. Not nice, but actual noise for the computer. And they've actually done that with the radar they used to have on these cars as well. Everything here is done just using camera signals. And that is not going to change. If you think by waiting, they'll realize their mistake and put sensors back in so that it'll beep when you're about to drive into that annoying parking pillar you have in your parking, then you're going to have to wait forever. They are not going back on that decision. Take my word for it. By the way, if this is too tall for your garage, what you can do is you can set it to the height where it fits inside your garage and just hold this button for a second. It's going to beep at you like that. And then next time you open it, it won't open any further than that, which is good to avoid dinging the back part of your car. On the back here, you'll see that there are also no sensors here. They just use the camera. Yep. We know that's the way it is, but they do have this diffuser down here, which the new Model 3 has actually inherited. Ow, don't do that. It's burning hot. Ow. This design hasn't changed at all since 2019, but there are rumors that they will be coming out with a new version called the Juniper next year, or maybe not. Who knows? Honestly, they've said it's not coming out this year, 2024. Now, the front headlights, by the way, these headlights are actually LED matrix headlights. Funny story. LED matrix headlights are headlights where you can keep your high beams on and it'll dynamically turn off individual pixels so as not to blind oncoming traffic. Really useful because you can avoid blinding people and still see what's around them. Works really, really well. Now Tesla has been installing these since 2021 in both the Model 3 and the Model Y. However, they only recently upgraded the software to actually use them. Until now, they were just regular LED lights, not the matrix stuff. So I guess everybody who bought a Tesla Model Y or Model 3 in the last 2 years didn't really know that they had these LED matrix lights. And now they do. The wonders of software OTA updates. So we're ready to do the highway test in the Tesla Model Y long-range dual motor. Officially, it's supposed to have 533 kilometers according to the WLTP standard, but that is a standard cycle. It's not highway driving, and today we're doing highway driving. It's 19 degrees outside, which is this many Fahrenheit, and I've got 98% battery. How far do you think I'll go? We'll go one way on the highway. When we're halfway through the battery, we'll turn around and go back. Let's do this. So I've been driving for a little more than 1 hour now, an hour and 10 minutes to be exact. And I've done 135 kilometers. I'll put miles up here on screen. I've been doing pretty much 120 kilometers an hour consistently. There's been a bit of road work, so I do have to slow down for that. We do not want to do anything dangerous here. Now I do 121 according to the speedometer on the car, because I've checked with my Draggy that is exactly the same as 120 according to the Draggy, right? So I want to do this so I can compare different cars from different brands, and there'll be a different deviation on the speedometer according to, you know, the real speed here. So if I multiply out the battery I have left, I've got 63% left, and if I multiply that with the 137 kilometers I've done so far, I will be doing about 400 kilometers, which is, I guess, kind of what you could expect, maybe a little bit more including. But the first part of the route is a bit uphill. That might affect it. I might have some headwind as well. We'll see. The car will tell me how much battery we have left when I get back to my origin. So now I do have to turn around, because if I take this exit and go back now, I'll get back to the charger with just 5% of charge. Perfect. So let's take this exit here. I do have a problem though. Now my problem is this. I drank this before I got going. So I gotta pee. One of the most important things on an EV is that it'll show you where to charge, when to get there, how much battery you'll have there, how long time you have to stay at the charger, etc. Helping me planning a long trip is much more important even than having a big battery or being efficient and all that. Because if the computer can tell me where I should stop and charge, etc., I can go anywhere. So let's try this. I'm gonna go to, say for example, Malaga, which is quite far from here, which is I think a 6-hour drive or something like that. And I've only got 10% battery left. So I'm definitely not gonna make that. And it says I need to go to Getafe, which is a nearby supercharger. Let me just show that again. There, Getafe, a nearby supercharger, charge there for 40 minutes, drive to another one and charge there for 25 minutes, and then I'll get to Malaga. All good, except for one little detail. I don't have enough battery to get to Getafe. Getafe is maybe half an hour away from here or something like that. And no, it's more. It's nearly an hour away from here, and it is the closest supercharger en route. So even though it plans perfectly well with stops, etc., and it'll give me the full route and everything, which is great, and which is how it should be, it could be a little bit better if it would at least give me the option to use other charging stations as well, because they're in there. You can see I've got a Iberdrola, I've got a Thunder, and both of these charging stations, they're right here, next to where I am now. I could easily charge in one of those and then get to the supercharger or whatever. So the only thing I can fault the system for is not using other alternative chargers, even when it says I won't be able to make it to the next supercharger. Now for a long road trip, you probably wouldn't start with 10% and then plan your charges there. I'm just making this as an example, showing you the deficiency of not giving me alternatives to the superchargers. I am in fact going to this Thunder station to charge, which is right next to where I am, and I should get there with 7% battery left. Plenty. 6% more than I need. Hey, here's a little detail. So I've marked the Thunder charging station, which is 10 minutes away from me, as my next stop. And since the car knows it's a charging station, it's going to preheat the battery. So with the battery a little bit hotter than what it just naturally is, it'll be able to take a faster charge when I get there. It's nice that Tesla does this, even though I'm navigating or driving to a non-Tesla supercharger. Just another high-powered charger from a different system, but it's in the database, so it'll preheat my battery. Good. Actually, preheating the battery can save you as much as 20% time when charging, because if it's a little bit hotter, then the initial boost will just be much better, and I'll get, up to 200 kilowatts of charge instead of what I might get like 30 or something if it's not hot at all, or if it's a cold day. And then the first many minutes are going to be used mainly to just heat up the battery in order for it to be able to receive this charge. But while it's heating, it's also charging a little bit, so it might get to the correct temperature with the state of charge a little bit higher, and then again that means it wouldn't be able to receive as much power. So yeah, preheating the energy is fundamental to lowering the time you need to stop at a charging station. So I've done 370 kilometers. I've used 18 watt hours per kilometer, which is this many miles per kilowatt hour and this many kilometers per kilowatt hour. So the full range, if we take the 370 kilometers and add up the 9%, 7% that's left over now, and 2% we'd spent before we actually went on this journey, means that we can do 406 kilometers on 100% of the battery, taking into account the weather and the circumstances we've had today. Not bad at all. So 18 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, and we need to charge up now 200 kilometers just to see how long a second stretch would take to charge. So that means we have to charge 36 kilowatt hours. Let's do that, and let's time it. All right, so we're at the Thunder 360 kilowatt power station. The car can take up to 250 kilowatts, but I believe that's only for the actual superchargers. If we're charging at a non-supercharger station, it's going to be a little bit less. Let's see how well it does. Right, so I've used this Z card or EZ card. I'm not sure what they actually call it. It's a identification card from Thunder where I can pay in these Thunder charging stations. I can also use my credit card or an app, or you can even do plug and charge if you've got your own car and it's linked to your account. And this is a press car. I'm definitely not going to link that to my account here. Let's see how well it does for the charging. It's already started and it's doing 134 kilowatts of charge. Let's see if it gets up a little bit higher. Let's try. I'm not sure if you can read this because of the sunlight, but it's charging now at around 190 kilowatts, 187 specifically. Okay, I'm not sure you can see this, but here it's 18 kilowatt hours. I think you can see it there. And we did it in 6 minutes. 100 kilometers or 60 miles in just 6 minutes. Not too shabby. So we're charging at 47% state of charge now, but we are all the way down to 117 kilowatts of speed. Let me just get a little bit away from all that noise. One of the things you'll typically find on a Tesla is that they charge really quickly at the beginning, but the charging curve means that it'll taper off quite quickly. So next time you travel with them, just charge just the necessary to get to your next stop. Don't charge it all the way up. It's just too slow. So we've charged 37 kilowatt hours now. 36 kilowatt hours took just 14 minutes. So 14 minutes is what you need in order to charge 120 miles or 200 kilometers for your next haul. Not too shabby. I just wanted to show you the charge port. You can open it just by touching it, or you can use the phone, or you can use the screen inside the car, or the button on the charging cable. Yeah, that's right. So I'm just driving here on this unpaved road, not because I'm trying to do offline or anything like that. It's just a nice place to shoot. By the way, I apologize for any mosquitoes who sacrificed themselves during my travels. This car's got 514 horsepower, dual motors, so four-wheel traction, and there's just so much of it. It doesn't matter where it just pulls whenever you ask it to pull, and it's lovely. And it's not just an American car that only knows how to go into a straight line. You can actually control it really well. These 20-inch rims with the Michelin Pilot Sport EV tires on, they're very grippy, and they will allow you just to have a little play with the car. So if you go into a curve, I'll see if I can find one close by, they will let you know by the sound more than anything when they're about to let go, and they'll kick out the backside just a little bit. It is a lovely driver's car. Whoever tells you that you can't enjoy an electric car for their driving, qualities, they don't know what they're talking about. Let's try some curves with this car. The funny thing is that it's an SUV, and even though it balances a bit, you've got such an amazing control when you throw it into a curve. It's just, you can't get the car to skid out. You can't make the tires let go. This is a feeling of utmost security, even though you're driving a 500 horsepower car on windy, narrow Spanish roads. So how's your day? Nah, this car drives like a dream. It's very good accelerating out of the corners. Look, it just grips and pulls, and it just doesn't let go. Now, four-wheel drive means you got that extra level of security pulling you out of a corner. As soon as the rear end lets go just a little bit, the front end grips on and pulls you out. So there's a little bit of oversteer sometimes when you really, really thrash it around and you drive like a maniac. But then the front wheels kick in and get you out of trouble. I've driven, I think, every single Tesla there is, and this one grips particularly well. Some of them, like for example the Model 3 Performance, also does this. Now you have this same car with the 19-inch rims, and they are a lot less grippy. They are made for range and not for sporty as much as this one. So yeah, you get more range, but you get less fun out of it, and less, I wouldn't say safety. They'll still keep you safe, but safe when you're driving like a maniac. Now we're gonna do just a 0 to 100 acceleration in this car. I only have 43% battery, so do take that into account. Official time for this car is 5 seconds from 0 to 100. I think it's 4.9 from 0 to 60, or 4.8 Not quite sure. Well, let's try it. So let's test this acceleration. I use a Draggy. This device here, it's a little high precision GPS device. You put it on top of your car because it's a magnet, and then it just very precisely will tell you your acceleration and everything like that. So you just need to reset it, get ready, and just hit the accelerator. Let's go. Oh, I should do this with much more battery percentage because it's slow now. Oh, it's supposed to be 5 seconds. Yes, I know I stepped on the line. Sorry, Tesla. Okay, official time was 5.17 seconds. And that is absolutely due to the low state of charge of this battery. Now I have tested this with 70% battery and gotten below 4.8 seconds. So it really can do it faster, but your battery charge will affect your ability to accelerate on this one. Inside the Tesla Model Y, we've got plenty of space. It's a big car, I can tell. I'm 6'4", 1.90 m, and I've still got plenty of headroom, plenty of elbow room, lots of space. It's a comfortable place to be. These seats in black faux leather, yeah, they can be a little bit hot on a summer day like today, and it would have been nice to have them either in wide or perforated, or preferably both, as you get in the Tesla Model 3, the new one. Here, the glass roof does allow quite a lot of heat to come through, but if you got your aircon on, it's not a problem. However, right now, I've got my aircon off because they interfere with my microphone, so you can't hear what I'm saying. So I'm dying in here, slowly but surely. Anyway, back to the Tesla. Materials are good. Despite what they might say on the internet that these are cheap plasticky cars, they are definitely not. We have nice, soft, comfortable materials all around. The only thing I might criticize as being, you know, not quite with the times is this strip of wooden material, which does feel a bit flimsy, and it looks a little bit out of place maybe on a car like this modern tech car, right? If you get it with a white interior, we get a white strip instead of that. And if you get the new Model 3, you get a complete cloth woven thingy, which maybe they're going to put in the new Model Y someday in the future as well. Who knows? But yeah, that is the only thing that I think they should improve on quality-wise in here. The rearview mirror is tiny, but even tinier is the window in the back. It's like looking out through a little post box slit or something. I can't see anything whatsoever, so I do prefer to use these cameras. If I actually have to back up, I can't see. It's ridiculously small. Exterior rearview mirrors are quite good and large and give me great visibility. In fact, I have good visibility all around here, you know, lots of window space. This here, though it does let the sun through a bit and a bit of heat right now, and I'm suffering, I do like it because it gives me a sense of openness and space in the inside here. So tech-wise, there's something I'm missing. If I'm driving here, I have this main screen, 15-inch, great, works brilliantly, one of the best systems in the world. However, I am lacking something, a little bit of information in front of me as the driver. I would have liked a heads-up display to just show me the speed and perhaps GPS indications, so I didn't have to check down here all the time, especially if I'm on a busy city street where I have to pick the right lane and lots of traffic going on. It would have been really nice to have it up in front of me instead of having to glance down to the screen all the time. Aside from that, I do like that everything is operated by the screen. I like that there are no buttons on here. I find buttons kind of annoying, clumsy, and single purpose, if you know what I mean. Here, you have an updatable system where I can even customize it. So if I want to hold down these buttons, I can say, no, I don't need that icon. I actually prefer to use, I don't know, the arcade or whatever it is instead of that. So you can personalize it, you can customize it, and I like that. And it's updatable. Now, a button is just a button, and the button does whatever the button did when it was first installed and whatever it's capable up to do. And that's a lot more limiting. This is nice. Regarding the tech, this has got all the updates and all the internet and entertainment and Spotify and music services, and it'll have Audible and all that. And it's inbuilt in the whole Tesla ecosystem. And that's a fundamental part of this. It's difficult to explain to somebody who hasn't owned a Tesla or hasn't driven a Tesla for an extended period of time. But the fact that the computer, the software, the car, the service and the sales and everything is done by one single company means that there's a level of integration that other car companies are not able to achieve. Imagine something goes wrong with your car. Like, for example, the 12-volt battery needs replacement. So that will send a message to the screen. The screen will send a message to your phone. the phone will book an appointment with the service center, and the service center can remotely connect to your screen or your car and see what's actually wrong with it. And maybe they can book your service appointment, or they can send out a ranger, or they can maybe even fix it in remote, depending on what the issue is. This kind of integration that works so seamlessly and so nice and really gives a brilliant user experience is only possible because it's one company that does the app on your phone, the app in your car, the physical car, the service center, the sale, and all of that. And that's just one of 100 of interactions you have with the system and the company. When you own it, this is something you really, really appreciate. Now, of course, you got all the silly things like vampire video games and fart sounds and what's not. And sure, what's life without a smile every now and then? That's cool enough. But what I do enjoy every day is the integration and how it works with my phone. I leave the door open and I walk in my house and the car will send a message, say, "Hey, idiot, you left your door open." Something like that. Yeah, that's what I need. So the tech is brilliant and it updates. You've maybe heard about the Sentry Mode. The Sentry Mode is the system that uses the cameras around the car to check that nobody messes with your car when it's parked. Or if something happens while you're driving, you can hit the horn or hit a button on the screen and it'll record the last 10 minutes. That's called Sentry Mode in this car, after the Aliens movie, by the way. This wasn't originally intended to come with the car. It was just somebody on the internet wrote, "Hey, now that you've got cameras around the car, why can't you record it on a USB stick?" And Tesla thought, what a brilliant idea, let's do that. So they allowed the users to plug in a USB stick or a hard disk into the USB ports inside the center console here, and then automatically it would record whenever somebody was close to your car. So somebody messes with your car, you got their footage and you go to the police or your insurance and everything's handled. Hundreds of, if not thousands of cases have now been, handled that way, and that's brilliant. Now they went one step further and said, okay, so we got the Sentry Mode, we got the USB stick down there, but what happens if somebody breaks into it and just take out the USB stick and run off with it? All right, well then, let's put it in the glove compartment just to hide it a bit more. And then somebody said, well, can't we just make it so that you can't just open the glove compartment because it's all by software as well. It's done on the screen, right? And then they said, well, all right, let's put a pin code on it. So now you can put a pin code on your glove compartment where you have your USB stick that records your stuff for the Sentry Mode. Brilliant. Software, updating hardware, updating software. And now Tesla actually gives you a USB stick that just comes pre-installed in your glove compartment. That kind of integration between the tech and the hardware and the way to think is unique to Tesla. So we've got plenty of space in here. I'm 6'4", but I've got space for my head, for my knees, for my feet below. And I like the fact that I can move across here and there's not a transmission tunnel in the middle obstructing the space here. This means that 3 people can sit next to each other. Relative comfort, I guess. You won't have as much limiting space and you won't have to sit there and kick each other. I like the fact that I can put my feet under the seat. I know it sounds silly and non-important, but for a tall guy like me, it really is important. This is because both the front seats and the rear seats are elevated. They're sort of on stilts compared to in the Model 3. Other than that, good materials all around. Much of the same stuff as we see in the front, with one exception. The back of these seats are kind of plasticky, and the kind of thing that you budge up against or again and again. Other than that, no complaints for me here. I've got USB-C ports down there if I want to charge something. I can put this down, put my drinks here, 2 of them, and my elbow has a place to rest. That's all good. Now enough chit-chat, enough sitting around here on this nice, lovely Spanish summer field in the dead heat. Let's go drive it and see how it moves. I'm driving now using the Autopilot, which fixes the car in the lane as if it was a train on tracks and not using the accelerator or braking or anything like that. And it's one of the best assistance systems in the world. Absolutely. It's up there with BMW, with Hyundai, Kia, and those. Mercedes has a good one as well. And that's it. It's not perfect, and definitely here in Europe, we suffer from the regulation not allowing Tesla to do all the fancy things it can do with full self-driving in the US. This car is equipped with what is called enhanced autopilot, which is lane keep, adaptive cruise control, and it'll also change lanes automatically for me. But if I put on the indicators, yes, I have to do that before I can actually change lanes. And then when I do it, it'll change the lane for me and I can change back again because I'm not supposed to drive on the left-hand side. I can use navigate on autopilot, which means that it'll tell me which lane I should be in and which exits I should take according to my destination in the GPS. It will also stop for traffic lights. It'll indicate stop signs and the likes on the screen for me. And that's about it. Now, that seems underwhelming compared to all the fancy videos we see from the US, where you have full self-driving, or as they call it, supervised full self-driving, which is an hilarious term in my opinion. But that's what you get in Europe. Hopefully someday you will get more. But for now, I have to judge this car according to the capabilities it has at the moment when I'm driving it. Now, this car has no ultrasonic sensors, so it will not do auto park. It used to, but it won't do it right now. I know there is a software update coming over the next weeks, and maybe it's out when this video has been edited and published, that will bring auto park back, but it's been absent from the cars for nearly a year and a half now because of the removal of the ultrasonic proximity sensors. As a user, that's annoying. It's quite annoying actually, but I guess you have to take a forward-looking view and see when it's back. It's probably going to be better. Maybe. We shall see. It can also not do summon or advanced summon, where you use your phone and it'll come and pick you up if you're in the parking lot, but in the other extreme of it or something like that. That is partially due to regulation and partially due to the fact that without the proximity sensors, that's not allowed either. So yeah, none of the super fancy stuff, and we're basically left with a lane keep assist and an adaptive speed control. That's it. It's good, but it could be so much more. One thing that does work quite well on the Tesla Autopilot is that you can use it on secondary roads as well, so not just on highways. And there it's even more important to be good at adapting to the road conditions. So if there's a sharp curve coming up, I see it gets nervous, by the way. There's a truck there next to me, and it was stepping on the line in all fairness. The car jittered a bit. I guess it's only fair that it does that and that it is cautious. As I was saying, you can use this on secondary roads, and the Tesla Autopilot is one of the best systems for adapting to road conditions. So if there's a sharp curve coming up, it will lower the speed to be able to do that at the correct speed, even though you might have a higher speed limit available to you. So adapting to road conditions is a very good thing if the car's driving for you.
Let's have a look at the scoring for the Tesla Model Y long range dual motor. Range and efficiency. To travel comfortably in an electric car, you need a real-world range of about 300 kilometers, which is 180 miles, at highway speeds. This is the magic number because it means that using 80% of the battery, you can drive for 240 kilometers or about 2 hours without stopping. So 300 kilometers of range gets a score of 5, and for every additional 50 kilometers or 30 miles, we add a point. The Tesla Model Y dual motor achieved 406 kilometers, 252 miles of total range. The larger wheels slightly affects its efficiency, with a consumption of 18 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, same as 290 watt hours per mile, which is reasonable and relatively low for an SUV, thus scoring 7 points in range and efficiency. Charging experience. To charge 36 kilowatt hours, which corresponds to about 200 kilometers or 125 miles, the Model Y needs just 14 minutes. More than reasonable for a quick stop on a trip. The maximum charging speed reached 190 kilowatts. The charging curve drops relatively quickly, so it's best not to charge the car beyond 70 or 80% to save time. Additionally, the car preheats the battery, programs routes with chargers, and provides good information on the screen, making the charging experience really overall very, very easy. However, it lacks bidirectional charging like V2L, vehicle to load, so we give it 8 points for the charging experience. Performance and driving. The Model Y accelerates in just 5 seconds to 100 kilometers an hour, has all-wheel drive, strong regenerative braking, and firm yet comfortable suspension, with a hint of sportiness. As a driving machine, it's really impressive. There are 2 driving modes if you prefer smoother acceleration. When you lift off the accelerator, the car comes to a full stop, so you can drive using just one pedal. We give it 7.5 points for performance and driving. Interior and quality. The Model Y's interior is very spacious, both for passengers and for carrying luggage. The large frunk is also a big plus. The materials are good, though sometimes the assembly could be better. The design is minimalist, but an additional screen for the driver and some rear seat infotainment would have been nice. We give it 7 points in this category. Exterior and design. Exterior design is always subjective, but the Model Y's design isn't as attractive as the Model 3, with less harmonious proportions, and it's starting to show its age. Hopefully, we'll see an exterior design update next year to modernize it. On the practical side, it offers easy access and the options to tow with a hitch. We give it 6.5 points for exterior and design. Technology. The technology in the Model Y benefits from seamless integration with Tesla's system, updates, apps, and charging network. However, it doesn't include Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, and it's missing a few features like heads-up display, rear seat screen, 360-degree cameras, interior LED lighting, and other tech you'd expect in newer cars. We give it 7.5 points for technology. Driver assistance. Despite all the hype around full self-driving, in Europe, the reality is that Tesla's Autopilot is quite similar to what many other brands offer. That said, Tesla's system is very reliable, adjusting speed not only to the legal limits but also to road conditions like curves and what's programmed in the GPS. It can also change lanes. Since we recorded this video, the Tesla has reintroduced automated parking. We give it 7.5 points for driver assistance. Price. The Model Y long-range dual motor currently costs €51,990. Let's compare it to similar-sized electric SUVs with all-wheel drive and a similar range. One competitor with similar acceleration is a Hyundai Ioniq 5 all-wheel drive, priced at €65,260 with 80 kilometers or 50 miles less range than the Model Y. Then we have the Ford Mustang Mach-E all-wheel drive with a 99 kilowatt-hour battery offering similar acceleration and even slightly better range than the Model Y, but priced at €72,233, making it €20,000 more expensive. Next, we compare the Volkswagen ID.5 GTX, priced at €57,500. Its acceleration and range are comparable to the Model Y, though it's a bit shorter and therefore slightly smaller. The only vehicle that comes in below the Model Y's price is the BYD Seal U, starting at €44,580 for the long-range model. Its range is almost on par with the Model Y, but its acceleration is slightly slower. There are plenty of other competitors in this segment, which is the most popular of electric vehicles right now. However, it's hard to find one that offers the same versatility and sportiness as the Tesla for the same price. Therefore, the Model Y earns 8 points in the price category. Final score. Taking the weight of each category into account, the Tesla Model Y earns a total score of 74 out of 100. If you'd like to compare it with other cars that have gone through the electric exam, you can check it out on our website, linked in the description below.
So there are plenty of good reasons for choosing the Tesla Model Y long-range dual motor. For example, the driving experience, the traveling, the charging, and of course the interior space and the whole Tesla technology integration, which is just brilliant. Is that enough to make it the best-selling car of 2024 as well? And is it enough to make it sort of the best car you can buy right now? Well, that's up for you guys to decide, because the best car really depends on your needs, and your needs might not be the same as my needs. Certainly, competition is heating up, and there are now plenty of other good and interesting alternative EVs in this space. So what do you think? Leave a comment down below. I read them all and I enjoy them very much, especially when they're kind. Click the like button, and if you reach this far in the video and you're still here, please subscribe. You know, I'm sure you like the video, and if you don't, then you can hit the dislike button twice. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you again soon with another video about electric vehicles and sustainable mobility. Ciao.